Good afternoon, everyone. This is Caesar with Inspire Movement. Today we're continuing with our segment entitled Word of the Day, and we're looking at the word relationships. So, by definition, it's essentially the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected. It's also the state of being connected, but more specifically, I want us to look at intimate relationships. So what do they exactly mean? Well, interpersonal relationships between two people that usually have something called emotional intimacy beyond physical intimacy. I want to add a few more layers to this, though, in terms of what a holistic connection between two people that are in a romantic relationship actually have. Well, they also have spiritual intimacy, experiential intimacy, and intellectual intimacy. Let's really dive in now. So what do we mean by emotional intimacy? Essentially, can you be vulnerable with your partner? Can you talk to your partner about things that you wouldn't want to talk to about with just about anyone? That's a type of vulnerability that we're talking about with emotional intimacy. Intellectual intimacy. Can you guys be having dinner, say at a restaurant, and talk about politics or taboo subjects, maybe like religion, and agree to disagree and not be at each other's throats? That's what we mean by intellectual intimacy, that you can be yourself with your partner and have a different opinion than they do. And it's okay, right? Because we have that intellectual intimacy. Spiritual intimacy. Well, can you guys pray together? Can you read scripture together? Can you watch a beautiful sunrise or sunset together in awe and wonder? Those are the types of spiritual connections that we're talking about with spiritual intimacy. And the last one is experiential intimacy, meaning to say, do you have shared experiences that only apply to the two of you? Have you gone on trips together where it was just you and your partner, and you can talk about that across the dinner table and just kind of remember those beautiful memories? That's what we mean by experiential intimacy. So it's way beyond just physical intimacy, which is typically what we think about when we say intimate relationships. As I sort of reflect on this subject of relationships, what I have to offer is, I read a book recently by Gary Chapman. It's entitled The 5 Love Languages, and it goes into how it's really important in a loving type of relationship with your partner that you first identify what your love language is, maybe your primary and secondary love languages, as well as your partner's. And the 5 love languages that he discusses within the book apply to words of affirmation, which essentially mean that you, if it's the way that you need to be loved, need to be told what a great job you did. Thank you, honey, for taking out the garbage. Thank you, honey, for that beautiful meal that we had last night. The lasagna was wonderful. Words of affirmation. Another way in which we can actually express our love or need our love the love to us to be expressed is through something called quality time. We just want to be with our partner. We want them to be around and to really pay attention to us in a very distinct way that we know it's only applicable to us. They're completely immersed in being with us in that specific moment. That's what we mean by quality time. Another one is physical touch. And we don't necessarily mean a physical intimacy. It could be just a caress, a hug, a kiss, some form, holding hands while at the park. That could be another way in which we want to feel loved, right? Another one would be acts of service. We expect our loved ones to do something for us, something that we really need, maybe tend to us in some way through an act of service, because that's the way that we express our love, right? Another one is receiving gifts. So it could be that your loved one, receives you with a bouquet of flowers for no reason. It wasn't Valentine's Day or a birthday, just for a special occasion, or buys you a little gift as a ring or a necklace or something like that. So those are predominantly the 5 love languages that are discussed in his book, The 5 Love Languages. Again, words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Why is this so critical? Because if you don't know what your primary love language is, eventually what could happen is if you're not receiving it from your partner, then your emotional love tank will be empty. And once it's empty, guess what? That's when the problems arise in the relationship. If you're not giving the love language to your partner that they expect to receive in like kind, their emotional love tank is going to be empty. And when we're in what we call committed relationships, committed types of love, meaning to say it's past the honeymoon stage, where we're in the in love phase, typically seen in the movies as falling in love, which only lasts at the most 2 years. We're in that committed type of love. We need to make the decision to lean into whatever the primary and secondary love language of our partner is, so that they are emotionally full, respected to their love tank. I hope this is making sense. But this is why this is so critical. I've just really have become aware not only of this construct or of this framework of Gary Chapman, but also like self-identifying what is my primary love language. How is it that I need to be loved in order to feel loved? And for me, it's predominantly acts of service, which my wife has figured out over the years and leaned in. For her, I now know it's quality time, and I have done the same thing for her by making sure that I spend quality time with her so that she feels fulfilled. So in these types of ways, we can have these beautiful, intimate relationships in which we're all thriving and feeling well. I hope this is actually helpful for you. Please connect with us at www.inspireamovement.com. It's always a great pleasure. We do this with all love and respect, and know that we are just here to serve. So anything that we could do in order to provide a service for you, please connect with us and let us know. If anything within the health and wellness realm that we can actually dive into, we will. I promise you, or at least point you in the right direction to make sure that your services or your desires are met. Thank you so much, and have a lovely remainder of your week.